Now, a lot of people would think, okay, they say this is the guy, 100% sure, suspect's dead, but the questions don't stop, right? There are questions that I'm concerned may never be answered. Motive, planning, anyone else involved? What has he been up to the last few days? We going to get those answers? What's happening behind the scenes, you think?
We're going to get them, Jesse. This is why the behavioral analysis unit is going to be all over this case. And that's the FBI section that is in Quantico. And they actually analyze shooters like this. Why do they commit these shootings? What can we do to prevent them in the future? Education. And they are going to pour over this case, I assure you, Jesse, in the background.
There's a lot of talk about criticism of authorities about whether there was a lack of response, not able to capture him sooner on. But then you balance that with what authorities say. He took countermeasures. He was hiding his appearance, changing license plates. There was an issue of European SIM cards. You surprised it took this long for there to be a conclusion?
You know, I am. But let me tell you what I think the crux of the issue was. The crux of the issue was, and they said this numerous times in these press conferences, that they did not seek out help, but rather, as in the case of the FBI actually reached out to Providence to offer their help. And this was the problem with all of that. Early on, I don't believe the FBI was fully utilized. We could see that in the fact that we weren't seeing these videos. We could see that in the fact that we did not see the grid searches being done that you would have expected to be done post-haste right after this crime was committed. Instead, we saw it days later. This was the problem. You have to utilize what the FBI can offer in terms of their analysts, their ERT team, and that video analyzing all of that right away. Instead, they put that off, Jesse.
Do you think it's strange, the circumstances of his death? So he wasn't killed in a gunfight. He was found dead in this storage unit in New Hampshire. There was live video of authorities and law enforcement with long guns entering this. We were trying to make sense of it. That press conference was delayed by several hours. The circumstances of his death, do you find that strange?
Not really. I think many people anticipated that if he were found, he would take his own life. This isn't the type of guy, at least if you look at other cases, that would want to go through the prison system. It also seemed like it was one of these cases where he had an axe to grind with Brown. I think it was more personal, if indeed he's responsible for the MIT shooting. And he's done. Once they're satisfied and they've done the crimes that they want to commit, they're done.
Yeah, they haven't indicated there's any reason to believe he acted with somebody else or somebody else is involved. And you mentioned he has this apparent connection with the MIT professor. They went to school together in Lisbon. He had attended classes at Brown in the same, they couldn't definitely confirm it because it was like 25 years ago, but they said, more likely than not, he was taking classes or had access to the building that he had went into, according to authorities, to open fire and kill 2 individuals and injure 9 others. Are you confident, based on what we've seen so far, that this is the conclusion, that there's no one else involved, that this is him?
I think it is him, Jesse. But the question is, for instance, where did the gun come from? I'm curious about that. Other questions would be, was he dealing with anybody else that was like-minded in any other way related to his motive in at least the shooting at Brown? So those questions need to be answered. I don't think anyone can emphatically say no one else is involved at this point, but it would seem that he did act alone with the information we have.
Look, on another point of view, because he's dead, they won't have the opportunity to interview him. They won't have the opportunity to get those answers if he were to choose to do that. There won't be any kind of prosecution of him. You think about this, there was an element that it was really great police work, right? In the end, where they were able to track him using surveillance, get him to this Massachusetts rental car place. They look at the rental agreement, and now they have his picture everywhere. They showed it. But do you think there should have, if they said they had his name yesterday, should they have released that to the public?
No, no way. It would have tipped him off possibly. Most of the time, these types of individuals are watching closely the news, social media, to see if they're being tracked, to see if they're onto him. And if he would have seen his name, it would have been even more difficult to find him. So no, police finally made a good decision in terms of their messaging.
Jennifer Coffindaffer, Thanks for staying up late with me as we cover this breaking news. Really appreciate it.
Jesse, thanks so much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.